Good morning. Thank you very much for joining me today on Totallybeads. If you're new, welcome. And if you're our usual lot, well, thank you for coming to see me today. So today we're going to be making some really pretty wire wrapped rings. Now we've called these the Starlight rings. They're really straightforward to do. It is using wire. I know a few of you get a little bit when it comes to using wire, but these are so simple. They're really pretty. They're very quick to do. And I think today in your pack, you're probably going to be able to make at least 8. So they'll work out in terms of material costs, probably about £1 each. So fantastic value and offers on for you today. So I'm going to wait for a few of you to come in and say good morning, and then I'm going to take you straight onto the website, show you the goodies. There's lots of different colours. I think there's 10 today to choose from. You can pick which colour wire you like. We've already selected your beads and your crystals, and they're just really pretty. So I'm very excited. I'm always excited, but when it comes to wire work, you know, it's my passion. So thank you for joining me today. Good morning to Camille. She says, good morning, Natalie. Lovely sunny day. Hope you are well. I am good. Thank you very much. Good morning to Rachel. Rachel says, morning, everybody. Sunshine here in South Yorkshire. Well, it's that time, isn't it? It's Totallybeads time, so the sun's probably coming out now, but curtains are already drawn. So it might be a little bit darker than usual. I've got all my lamps and stuff on, so hopefully we won't have too many shadows today for you. Good morning to Julie. Good morning to Elaine. Good morning to Alison. Good morning to Lucy. Good morning to Jackie. Good morning to Mina. Mina says, good morning, Natalie and everybody. Good morning to Josephine and Anne and Rachel, Leanne, Kitti, Jitty, Celia. So I think we're all here this morning. Lucy says, these look interesting. I might show you straight away. Should I? No, we'll go to the website. We'll do it in an orderly fashion. Good morning to Amelia. She says, morning, all. First live that I have been able to watch since the week before Christmas due to working. Well, thank you for joining me, Amelia. This is a really lovely make. It's a quick one, so we might be able to do a couple of different colour variations. Good morning to Sheila. She says, good morning, Natalie and beading friends. Lovely blue sky here in Orpington, but cold. It's really cold, isn't it? I didn't have to do the school run this morning. My husband took my little one to nursery, so I haven't been out. I've had a coffee, and I've just had quite a nice leisurely morning. I've been up for quite a while, so I've not been out yet today. Good morning to Sheila. She says, good morning, Natalie and everyone. Lovely and sunny in Washington Northeast. It's foggy where Mina is. Lucy, there is a beautiful pink one. I'm sure you're going to be very happy with that. There's loads of different colours. There's something for everybody. Hello to, she says, I've already seen there is pink. Where am I up to in my comments? Good morning to Penny. How are you, my love? I love all your things that you're sharing in the handmade group. Thank you so much for doing so. It's lovely to see the ideas and where you take them and what colour combinations you put together. You do some really lovely work, so thank you for sharing. Good morning to Sharon, Judith. I'll try not to spill the coffee today. There's like a tiny little bit left in my cup, so if I do spill it, I'm not planning on getting up today. Hopefully, I won't have to go to answer the door for any parcels or anything like that. Fingers crossed. Good morning to Debbie. Right, let me take you onto the website and show you all the good stuff. So go on to the usual, which is our fantastic, wonderful website of totallybeads.co.uk. Now, there's numerous ways you can get into the tutorials. You can go down to categories and scroll down here, or you can click on the lovely logo at the top. I always get in it this way because it just seems quicker to me. So you can see all the lovely things that we've been making. You can search by date if you prefer, if there's a type of bead you want to work with or a type of technique you want to do. There's hundreds of videos there for you. But today is the Starlight rings. So if you click here, you can see all the gorgeous colours. Now there's 10% off these kits today, and that will be valid for a whole week. So thank you to Simon for doing that wonderful 10% discount for us. So they work out as £7.88 each. And as I say, I think you're going to get at least 8 rings out of these kits. Obviously, it depends on the size of the ring and the amount of beautiful pearls and crystals that you want to add to them. But you should, if you're being bountiful, shall we say, with your materials, you should be able to make 8. So that's working out at like less than £1 in terms of your material costs. So you've got 10% on them, and that offer is valid for a whole week. So that's beautiful. Have a little look at these colours. We've got an antique gold, which I must say is possibly one of my favourites. I love the crystals in these. We've got a coffee colour, which leads me straight on to having a little sip of my drink. Do excuse me. We've got a dark cayenne, which is a beautiful blue. We've got a dark gold. We've got ivory. The ivory wire is lovely. It's really, really lovely. There's, I think we should just start calling this Lucy, but this is pink magenta. A beautiful purple velvet, which again is another one of my favourites. We've got the red, we've got the rose pink, and we've also got space grey. They're just all lovely. Now you can see in terms of the designs that I've done there, every single ring you make using this technique is going to make you something slightly different. There's a lovely kind of busyness to them. They're quite chaotic, quite a free form, but they're really, really pretty, and they look gorgeous with the coloured wire. So if you have a little look in whichever one you're choosing, you'll see they come with the 0.4 colour remain wire in whichever choice. You're getting quite a lot on your reel with the, let me double check for you. I think you're getting about 8 meters possibly. So you get lots and lots of wire on your reel. You're also going to get your 2x3mm Crystal Rondelles strings. You're going to get 2 different colours of them. And you're also going to get your 3mm glass pearl round string as well. So having those pearls with the mix of crystals is really going to make just these colours pop, and having that colour wire is really just, I think, really very effective. I will show you them on my mat. I'll show you them in the flesh, so to speak, in all their glory. But they are £7.88 today. So an absolute fantastic bargain for you. So do have a little look at what colours you like. And if you're thinking this is something that you want to do, then get your kit in, because this offer is valid for a whole week. Let's have a look at your comments now you've seen these. Pauline said it took her a little while to find us now, but she's here. So thank you for joining us, Pauline. Good morning to Francis. Lucy says she likes the rose pink too. There's a surprise. Mina's suggestion may have already fallen into a basket, which is lovely. Lucy's trying to behave, but Lucy, for the cost of this and the fun that you're going to have, I'd just pop it in your bag. Stop resisting. Camille likes the ivory one. And good morning to Joanne. She says, good morning. It's sunny and frosty in Coventry. Right, let me take you down onto the mat, and you will see just the gorgeous colours that we've got here. I should probably double check on which colours what. I've put them in the order that they appear on the screen in your basket. So for example, this one is the antique gold. We have this lovely one, which is your coffee. will put it on and you can see. You've got this gorgeous, gorgeous blue, which we have called Dark Cayenne. Now it's up to you where you feel you might want to, which finger you want to wear this on. I think they look nice on my middle, so it's quite central. They're quite, I mean, they are a little bit bold. They're very dressy. They're very sweet, but you might decide, actually, I like to wear my ring on this finger. And I also, because the beads kind of spin a little bit, it gives me something to fidget with. So if you're, nice nails, thank you very much, Camille. If you, like me, are a little bit of a fidgeter, these are really good for, I suppose, releasing some stress and anxiety that you might have. Happy Friday, says Debbie. Happy Friday. In fact, this one's going to go really nice with my nails, isn't it, today? Oh, Eva, hi from Belgium. Thank you so much for joining us. So they're really, really straightforward to do. Now, in terms of size, you're going to need to go up a couple of sizes when making these, and I'll explain a little bit why and how. Look at them. Look at them all. I love this one. And you can make these as wide as you want. You can kind of adjust them and move them about after you've made them. Reposition those beads a little bit. That one's very pretty, Lucy. You might like that one. I mean, you'd like them all. But, I mean, in terms of my colour remain wire, I always love using the rose gold. I don't know why. I'm just very much drawn to it. I do like that. I might keep that one on. Good morning, Sue. Josephine says, are you allowed to sell what we make? Of course you are, Josephine. Of course you are. Most of us, I think we make for ourselves. We make for the joy of making. And to be fair, I have an awful lot of jewellery, but I tend to find I'll wear the same things over and over again. In here, you know, you're going to make 8 different rings. You're not going to want to keep all 8 of them. They make lovely, lovely gifts. A lot of us start out gifting our wares to friends and family, and then someone will see it and think, oh, I want one. And we drum up a little bit of business that way. So many of you might have your own website. You might have your own selling platform. I know a lot of you do lots of craft fairs and things like that. So yeah, if you want to make these and sell them, then you do that. That's fine, no problem. Lucy says the red's nice too. They're all gorgeous. Right, okay. In terms of sizing, now you might know what size you are, you might not. There's loads of different tools you can get to measure fingers and whatnot. If you are selling, I would suggest you get, say, something similar to this, which you can pop on your finger and you can adjust, and it will give you the size that that finger belongs to. Or you can get, these remind me of, like, I don't know, like jailer's keys. And you might want to, I mean, you can take these off. I tend to keep them on. Find the finger. I'm thinking, well, we'll see how an M fits. I've only got quite slender fingers. It's probably one of the only slender things I have, but you don't need to have these at all. A tape measure works, or what I often do, let me cut a little bit of scrap wire. I'll use this lovely pink. What you can also do is you can take a piece of thread or a piece of scrap wire or something, and you can measure your finger that way. So I'll say I'm about this long, and then you can measure it against a ruler. And when I'm doing like woven rings, I'll often ask people if they want one and they don't know what size they are to do this. And I'll know, right, well, my ring band needs to be this length. What you will need, I think, today is a ring mandrel. Now, this is actually a ring sizer rather than a ring mandrel. The only difference with the sizer is it's got this groove in the middle. Most ring mandrels will be fully rounded all the way round, and that's really good when you're making the shape that you need. However, for this particular ring, I really like having the groove in this, and I'll show you a little bit why in a moment. So then what you would do is you would take your thread or your wire, and then you would position that down, and you would say, right, okay, well, that's measuring at this or that one. Now, a lot of them have different sizes on them. So in the UK, we go with a letter system. In the US, they tend to have numbers. I don't know whether you can see them too well. And they'll have different measures there for you. So having something like this is very, very, very handy for this project. If you don't have a ring mandrel, then you can always kind of shape it around your finger, or you can find anything which is kind of dowel shaped, which might give you a rough size of what you need. Lucy says, I'm still wearing the very first ring that Natalie taught us to do. Oh, that's lovely. Oh, Josephine makes for charity. That's a lovely idea. I've been doing a few different rings lately. This is probably my more recent one that I've done, which I've wired the band. So when I'm saying about needing to know the size, I would measure my shank on the ring to the size that is needed. That one's got a little cushion cut amethyst in it. I've got numerous different styles and sizes. I have also been working on, which is something I would like to teach you in a few weeks maybe, is an adjustable one. And that way you don't need to know what size you are for that. Anyway, these aren't anywhere near as complicated and are just as lovely. So what you're going to need to do first and foremost is choose what colour you're wanting to make with. So I'm just going to reach down in my pile and pick the first one up. It's the pink, it's the rose gold. We'll do this one then for now. So you're going to take your colour remain wire, which is 0.4 millimetre, and you're going to get in your kit your gorgeous pearls and your crystals too. So you're getting two different colours of your crystals and your beautiful pearls, and they look gorgeous together. I can hear a few have fallen off my string and are already on the floor. So they're your gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous crystals. So firstly, I'm going to take a length of my wire, and I'm going to need, and you'll need, it doesn't really matter what size you're using, you're probably going to need about 100 centimetres, maybe 120. You can cut off any extra that you don't need, but I like to have a little bit more because I want to make sure that I have wrapped my band or my shank. So I'm going to cut off a length of my wire. In terms of tools, aside from your ring mandrel or something that you're going to shape this on, you may find it helpful to have some wire straighteners or nylon coated pliers. These aren't really a necessity, but whenever I'm whenever I'm using wire, I like to have them to hand just in case. You're going to need your cutters and some pliers, whatever type, needle nose, flat nose, just to kind of tuck in any ends. So in terms of sizing, the way these fit on your finger, because of the beads and the crystals and your pearls, that's going to take a little bit of your size. So you're always going to want to go at least 2 sizes up. this is how I found it. You can shape it and mold it a little bit to your finger, because this wire, this 0.4, is really malleable and really soft and lovely to use. So you can still adjust it and you can shape it, and it will have a little bit of stretch to it if you want to push it back down on your mandrel. But also, because we're going to weave, or wrap rather, the little band that runs across the back of the shank, which is this part of the ring, and that's going to keep your kind of ring in its shape, that's also going to take a size. So you're going to need to wrap, I would say, 2 or 3 sizes slightly larger than what you think you're going to need. Okay, so take your gorgeous crystals and pearls. Now, I tend to use maybe around 20. It doesn't matter, it's personal preference how beady and sparkly you want them to be. So I'm just going to pull a few off now. I'm not really paying attention to how many, 16, 20, something like that you might want. So let me move those out of the way. What I would suggest is that you don't worry too much about what you're picking up, because these aren't necessarily going to stay in place. We've called it Starlight ring because they're very glittery and very pretty, and there's a little bit of, as I say, chaos to them in terms of what you're picking up and how they're positioned. So you don't have to worry about the order in which you're picking up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the tail end of my wire and I'm going to pick a few of these up. Now, you can pick them straight up off your mat, like so, or you can pick them up and thread them on. It's probably easier, I think, to do them straight onto your mat. So I'm just threading a few on. I'm not going to put them all on just yet. Nicole, you've not missed much at all. All we've done so far is cut around 100 centimetres, maybe 120 centimetres of our 0.4 colour remain wire. And we're just adding on some of our gorgeous, gorgeous tiny pearls and crystals. Okay, I'll stop firing them all over the place and I'll just move them out of shot because I want to make sure that they're focused. So I've picked a few up to start with, and I'm going to bring quite a long tail end down. So you want at least 6 inches because we're going to use this to wrap a little bit later. Now you're going to find your mandrel, what size that you're wanting. As I say, if you're about an M, you might want to go 2 or 3 sizes up. It's a little bit of trial and error, but you're going to be able to make at least 8, so you can still have a little play with this. Now, you can work directly onto the mandrel, or you can do this in the air, and I'll show you probably how to do that method as well. All I'm going to do is I'm going to hold in on to one end. I'm going to start dropping a couple of those crystals down towards the bottom while I wrap that round the size that I want. So we're giving it a little drop down of a couple of my crystals or my pearls so they sit at the bottom, and I'm wrapping that round. As I say, you will be able to do this by just making these loops off the mandrel if you prefer. It just depends on how you like to work. I find when you do it on the mandrel like this, I'm not pulling it too tight. I'm just giving it a few little wraps as I go around. But you will find if you do it directly on the mandrel, you'll find that your wires sit a little bit neater maybe together. And then all I'm going to do is just keep picking up a couple more beads and pearls. Diane's asked, where did I get my mandrel from? I think this was from Amazon, if I remember correctly. I've bought that many tools over the years, or the year of being making. I'm pretty sure this was Amazon purchase, but you can get them from many places online, many different jewellery stalls and craft centres. I don't think we've got them on Totallybeads. I could be mistaken. If I am, then obviously get it from there. So I'm just adding a couple on. Sometimes I will let 3 drop down, 2 drop down. Just going to keep positioning that round where I want it to be. And you can also flip it over and see how it's starting to look. I'm going to do another one of these with a brighter colour wire so it shows up a little bit. It's a bit dark in here today. I can't win, can I? It's either blinding lights and shadows or darkness. Can you see okay? Okay. I think I've probably put on the amount that I'm happy with. So again, I'm going to give them a little wrap around, let them fall into the position towards the bottom of my mandrel. Now you can see this is spaced out, that's okay. I'm going to start gathering it to the size that I'm wanting to make. I am going to give it a little flip over and just check that all of my pearls and my crystals are kind of facing forward. There's none gone rogue towards the back. What I like about having the groove in this mandrel is what I like to do at this point when I've kind of gathered the wires where I want them to be. So I'm just pushing them down so they sit next to each other with my fingers. Is because you've got this groove, you can then get your wire with absolute ease through that groove. If you can't, just slide it off, it's not a problem. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a piece of the wire and I'm just going to move it underneath and start to bring that round a little bit towards the side of my ring. And if I start to bind it from here, then that's going to mean that my crystals and my pearls are going to not move further back than that point. So all I'm doing is just putting a couple of wraps with my wire and positioning it round about there. And again, I'll do the same on the other side. So I'm taking the other long tail length that I've got. I'm going to bring that through that little gap. If I've got one, if not, I'll just take it off and I'll wrap it round the side. And I'm going to pull that to a little bit over towards this side. So I'll take it off and I'll show you how to do it without it. So I'm just going to move that wire, straighten that up a little bit. And I'm going to wrap that here just a couple of times. So now my crystals and my pearls are going to stay round about the front. If you want, you can keep popping it back on, checking your size and positioning of those. I also like to just flatten it out a little bit with my thumb, and that kind of gathers them. And then all I'm going to do is take the 2 tail ends of wire and I'm going to start wrapping around the band or the shank with my tail end. And that's why I like to have quite a little bit of extra wire to work with. You can just do it where you're just popping on a few wraps and that will hold it in place. But I think if you wrap, so this one I've done where I've only wrapped towards the sides, but I actually think wrapping all the way round gives it a much nicer finish. Have I missed any questions? Hello, Kim. Lorna says she got her mandrel from Amazon. Wasn't expensive. Came with the ring gauges. There you go. So you'll probably get a little set. This, it's called a mandrel, I think, on the website. It is more of a ring sizer because you've got that gap. A proper ring mandrel will just be round all the way round. And that's often better to work on. But I think, as I say, for this project, I like having that little gap in the middle. You just obviously have to adjust. If you're making a ring with a bead on the middle, then that bead is going to sit back into the ring, and that's going to take up some space as well. So sometimes you need to do a little bit of trial and error with your making in terms of getting your sizing right. Takes a bit of practice, but as you can see, making this is as simple as it is. So I'm not weaving anything here. I'm literally just bringing that tail end round. Morning, Brenda. And I'm just wrapping that round that shank. So it's going round the top, through the ring, and round the top again. And I am trying to get it fairly neat. If you spend a little bit of time, you can get your wire to sit next to the next wrap, and you can push it down with your fingers or your pliers if you want. If you want to do it really quick, you can just wrap it round and not pay much attention. It will be neater and probably fit more comfortable on the finger if you do it like this. And then I'm going to work my way towards the middle. Hello, Linda. How are you doing, my love? And then I'm just going to start on the other side. So my other tail end. And I'm just going to start doing exactly the same with that. So, I mean, I've got quite a lot of wire here. I'm not going to need all of it. So I say about 100 centimeters will probably do you for whatever size that you're making. I always like to use more than less. You can always add more on, though, to be fair. So say if I finished, my tail ends had finished here, and I wanted to carry on wrapping the shank of my ring, I would literally just cut another piece of wire and just start to wrap that instead. So it doesn't matter too much. Obviously, the more wraps you do, the more you've got, you can splay them out more and make them larger. Linda's loving the wire wrapping at the moment. She says, I've seen, Linda, some of your gorgeous makes that you've shared in the group. You are really, really, really coming on. It's practice with anything, isn't it? The more you do something, the better you get. And I love, particularly when I've seen Linda's work, I love seeing how quickly she's progressing. So her weaving is really neat. You're starting to do a few like coiling techniques and things, aren't you? And I love seeing what you make. I mean, I've only really been wire wrapping for just over a year, maybe a bit more. And when I look back at my first things, you know, I'm not embarrassed of them because they show me the journey that I've been on. And I'm sure I'll look back at things that I'm making in another year's time and think I've improved even more. So now I've got these two tail ends that are coming together. Can you see? All I'm going to do is I'm going to trim them off. What I want to do is trim them so they're kind of either up here, at the top or the bottom, rather than on the inside, because I don't want it catching on the finger. And if it's on the outside, sometimes it could maybe catch on clothes and things like that. So take your wire cutters and just give them a little trim. And then with some pliers that you've got, just tuck that down and make sure that they're sitting nice and flush. And then again, pop it back on your mandrel. If you want to make it larger, you can give it a little twist and push it down. You can reshape, as I say, your pearls and your beads, or you can pop it on your finger and you can shape them that way. Really, really straightforward. And I think they're really, really pretty. Oh, Lucy agrees. She says Linda's wirework skills are amazing. And she's learning to weave at the moment. Good morning, Angela. How you doing? Kim says, looks amazing. We'll go back and watch from the beginning later. Thank you very much. You can do it where you're not directly winding round the mandrel if you want to. We've got a little bit of time, so I'll show you how to do it off the mandrel. I'm going to go, see, I really wanted to do a gold one, but I'm also thinking it's probably worth showing you something with a nice bright wire. Oh, we're doing all the pinks today. So look at this. Look at the colour of that. The colours on these wires are just so lovely. Sheila says, looks lovely, Natalie, and a quick make. It is a quick make. So, you know, if you are selling these or you're selling them and, you know, donating your money to charity, what have you got here? You've got material costs, which cost less than £1. I would say about £1 per ring. If you're using that lovely kind 10% offer off Simon this week. And you're going to spend about 10 minutes making it. So it's a really cost effective make, I think. Wasn't paying too much attention there to how much I cut. I'm thinking this is about 100 centimeters. I just love the color of these wires. And it is color remain, so you know it's not going to tarnish too much when you're wearing something, you know, heavy use like a ring on your finger. I've worn lots of these for quite a while. I always take them off when I'm, you know, getting a wash or doing the dishes or anything. Don't like getting them wet because it is copper. All metals tarnish. All metals, even like 14 karat gold, will tarnish over time. But this has got a lovely colour remain coating to it. So I've never had my finger turn green using any of it. And I've don't ever really have any discoloration. If you wear it for, I don't know, months on end, you might find that the inside of the band where that's rubbing against your skin, eventually maybe some of the colour will wear off a little bit. Look at that blue one. Should have done a blue one. Right, okay, so let's take some more crystals out and I will show you very quickly. Same again, if you want to do these kind of off your mandrel to begin with, if you find that easier for you. Kim says it's a lush colour. Ruth says, pink for Lucy. Happy, happy Lucy, says Camille. Well, we've got to look after each other, haven't we? And it's, you know, it's cold outside. We need cheering up, so nice bright colours. Let's move my tools out the way. Okay, so same again. I'm going to start picking up a couple of my crystals and my pearls. I'm using my gorgeous 0.4 wire as a needle, I suppose. I'm just picking it up straight against the wire. They thread on really easily, given you've got such gorgeous tiny little crystals and pearls here. They're really easy to work with. Oh, she says, pinging one off. I don't know, I might pick up about 8 to begin with. Move them over this way. I'm going to leave myself quite a long tail end, say maybe 6-7 inches. And I'm going to bring these crystals and pearls down. And around my fingers, I'm just going to start making very loose. I don't want them too tight, but I'm just going to start wrapping and making those little loops and dropping my crystals and pearls down as I go. Don't worry if they aren't sitting neat next to each other. It's just going to give you, they'll give you the same look. It's just maybe a little bit more organic. I'm going to pick up a couple more. I mean, you can put all of them on if you want, but I just tend to find doing it this way, I can keep hold of my wire a little bit better and I'm not dropping my pearls and my beads. I'm going to put these in camera just so you can see what I'm doing. So I'm just picking a couple up, bringing them round, and then I'll have a little look just to check that they've all kind of fallen towards the bottom. Then I'm going to put it onto my ring mandrel at the size I want, a couple of sizes up from that, and then I'm just going to start pulling on those 2 tail ends very gently, just to get that to start going into that band. You can just adjust it with your fingers, turn it and just check that my crystals and my pearls are sitting on the right side. If you want, you can wrap a couple of extra times around without adding any of your crystals on. Lucy says it looks a lot more fiddly without the mandrel. When I've made most of them, to be honest, I did just do them in the loops. It's personal preference, it really doesn't matter. As I say, if you haven't got that gap, you can take it off and then just bring your wire through towards where you want your beads to stop moving, I suppose. So where you want your shank to start. Just going to wrap that round a couple of times to hold it in place. And the same on this side. Try not to be too forceful with the wire when you're pulling that round, because you don't want to pull these loops in, gathering them, and then ultimately making your ring smaller. Unless, of course, you want to make your ring smaller. I then position it back on to my mandrel, or if you haven't got one and you want to put it directly onto your finger, you can do. You can splay those out as you want. I've not put as many crystals on these. I think obviously that's going to go a little bit smaller by the time I've done my wraps. And then just same again, bringing that wire around. I want to keep those wraps. Can you see, is this focusing? I want to keep those wraps neat next to each other. So I'm just bringing it round to sit next to the last coil that I've made, or the last wrap that I've made, and you can flatten that down as you go. Lucy has kindly shared the link for you today. Ruth's freezing cold, she says. Well, you need warm fingers to make one of these, Ruth. So get yourself a cuppa and warm yourself up a little bit. Question, says Diane. I do have a mandrel, but can you make like this without? Yeah, you can. If it's for you, of course you can. I personally find having the mandrel's going to give you that ring shape, but you could have something. I don't think that's going to fit. I think that's going to be too big. Anything you've got really with that cylindrical shape, you can use. I mean, if you were to make a very, very large one and you needed to adjust it, I suppose what you could do is wrap. We'll do it with this one. I'll make this one super tiny, and I'll show you how to make it smaller. Well, we'll just have a go. I've not practiced this, so it may not work, but let's wing it and hope for the best, eh? So I would continue to wrap on both sides just to join my ring and hold that in its shape. But say this was really, really big and I wanted to make it smaller, what I would probably do is leave some of those inner wires exposed. I mean, you could do it over all of the wraps. I'll try it with one that I've wrapped fully, but let's try it this way first. So I would wrap quite a bit on both sides. I would cut off any of my excess wire, making sure I'm tucking that in nice and neatly. Don't want any scrapey bits. You can also flatten them if you want to make those bands a little bit neater. You see what I did there? So all I did was I trimmed my wire. I tucked it in, and just using my flat nose or my needle nose, I just give that little pinch and then push them in together. If you wanted to make this smaller, let me just give it a good shape first. So this now is perfect at the size that I want it. This is sitting at an M. But if I wanted to make it really tiny, or I'd made it a lot larger than I wanted it, you can hold your wires in the middle and bend them like this. So what I did is I took the shank with my pliers and I gave it a slight twist. So you're making this little V shape, and that now has reduced the size on that. So say it was an M, it's now sitting at about a J. Could you do it with the band once you've wrapped it? Yeah, you could. It's going to bring your wires a little bit looser in terms of those coils, but you could always give that a little twist in it, and that will make it a bit smaller again. Diane said, I'm just thinking if I get a kit for a niece who I know doesn't have a mandrel. Yeah, if she's making them for herself, she can use her own finger to kind of gauge that size on. Let's take you back up. So Linda says, oh, I've read that comment already, haven't I? Isn't that, I don't know why that's come back down again. Well, hello again, Linda. Charlotte says, wow, loving the look. Lucy says, very pretty. That's how easy they are to do. What we've made 2 rings in less than an hour, and that was me chatting and explaining everything to you. So they're very straightforward to do. I think they're really, really pretty. They're really comfortable to wear as well. They give me a nice little something to fidget with, because I often find that I'll do it with my engagement ring where my diamond is on the top. I'll notice I'll be kind of spinning it round. So this is, I think, very, very lovely. What else have we got? Lucy says, thank you so much, Natalie. I love them. They were, how much were they? Were they £7.88? £7.88. You're going to be able to make at least 8 rings in your kit. They come in a variety of beautiful, beautiful colours. You're going to wish you had more fingers. Look at them. They're so lovely. I'm made up with them. So thank you for joining me today. What are we doing on, what day are we on now? Friday. I will be back with you on Monday. I'm going to be, should I show you? Yeah, I'll show you. Oh, Sharon says they're so pretty and very easy project. Hello from Hawaii. Joanne says, love it. I'll be having a go at this today. Thank you, Natalie, for the inspiration. You are most welcome. Lucy agrees. It's a fab bargain. For 1 week only, you are getting 10% off that. So, yeah. Oh, Diane says, it would be nice made large for a bracelet. I always find if you can do a ring, you can turn it into a bracelet. You're just sizing it up. So, you know, for example, the adjustable one that I made, you could just make that larger and turn that into a bracelet. That's a really good idea. You'll definitely be able to make at least 1 bracelet out of all that wire. So Diane, if you do that, please show me. Lisa says it looks lovely. I'm terrified of wire work. I'm late today. I forgot what day it was and I got carried away cleaning. Oh, good for you, Lisa, having a good, I was going to say spring clean, but winter clean. Don't be afraid of wire work. This doesn't involve any weaving. You don't have to worry about, you know, having neat wraps. It's got a really lovely, really natural, organic feel to it, and they're adjustable afterwards in terms of, you know, I'll now sit and I'll maybe splay them out a little bit more, or I'll push them together. You can shape them after they've formed. There's no you know, there's no rules with this. They're all going to look slightly different. They're all going to have a really lovely natural organic look. So give it a go, Lisa. Don't be terrified of wire work. If any of you are starting out with wire work, a project like this is perfect to do. Nicole, I agree. She says the coloured wire really makes the beads pop. Thanks for the tutorial on pretty rings. You are most welcome. Lucy says, yes, show us. So you wanting to see what we are doing on Monday. Okay, have a little look at these. Aren't they stunning? So I'm going to be doing some waterfall necklaces with you on Monday. We're using these gorgeous, gorgeous pearls and these lovely crystal drops and some chain. And all you're going to need is some eye pins, some head pins, and I love these. I think they are gorgeous statement pieces. If you have, I mean, you can wear whatever with them, but I always think when I'm making something, oh, imagine having a dress like this with a big plunging neckline and all those lovely beads dangling down. So yeah, that's Monday. Stay tuned for that. Elaine says, thanks, Natalie. These are really pretty. I'm going to make them for my 2 granddaughters and great granddaughter. They love rings. That's lovely. Please share pictures of anything that you make in the handmade group. You know, as we were saying earlier, you inspire other people. So we can show you something to do. You can take that technique and make it even bigger and better and more colourful. You can do a completely different colour combination. And that just gives everybody else inspiration that they can do it too. Camille, you are most welcome. She says, have a great weekend with the family. I've got my cousin's daughter's birthday tomorrow. So yeah, we're going to a party, which will be lots and lots of fun. I don't recall really well, to be honest, the only parties I've been to in ages have been children's parties. I do love them. There's always cake. So Pauline says they look great. Charlotte says beautiful necklace. Lucy says can't wait for Monday now. Lorna says, thank you, Natalie. Another great wire work tutorial. Wow, love the waterfall necklace. Looking forward to Monday's live. So that is us for today then, my lovely. So thank you for joining me. Please come back on Monday. I'm looking forward to seeing you and looking forward to doing those necklaces. So have a lovely weekend. Be safe. Lots of love and light.